right, so let's get back to it. So now we don't really need this human reference for now. We can hide him. We need to work on a few things. First of all, what I want to do is I want to cut this bit here, and I was also thinking about beveling this, you know. So grabbing this bit here, right, all the way across, right, and beveling it like this. I think it's gonna be cool because it kind of fits the narrative of this track, I think, right? And we can remove the sharpen, so you know, Control Shift click on sharpen, and there you go. Now you know, be careful because this bevel is gonna be permanent, right? Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna recover the cutter here if we have one, unless we applied it already. Ever scroll, this one, okay? Let's duplicate this and let's make this larger, okay? And we're going to bring it up. And we're gonna cut this cabin, so shift click and difference, okay? Now we have these springs popping up over there, but that's okay. Now speaking of the bottom, what I was thinking is about creating some kind of cool covers in here. What we could do is either grab these bits, or actually grab the cutter itself, you know, this one, right? And go here and go to settings and shift click on shade solid, which is gonna give us this. I would actually use this array now because the array is gonna get messed up. And we can work with this, so D and N-gon. And first what I would do, I would cut this here. Come on, not the custom, N-gon, there we go. Cut this one here like this and see what's gonna develop, right? There we go. We could bring it a little bit outside, you know, so ever scroll and just bring it outside a little bit here, okay? And peachy. We could make this wider, so SY and make this wider, and then make this one bigger, okay, like this, right? And bring it up a bit, okay? Cool. That's good. Now we're gonna slice it from the bottom, right? So we need to slice it somewhere here. Now, I don't know how far we need to go, but we will see. And then I would actually run a cut like this. And we're getting somewhere, okay? There you go, see what I mean? Cool, cool, cool. And then we're going to grab this cutter, so ever scroll. Where is it? This one. And we're going to grab this, right? And we're gonna run it on this. So, difference, okay? And there you go. And now let's grab this mesh and go to local view. And let's recover the cutter. And let's look at this. Here we could run a bevel on top of this. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Like that, right? And we could also run a bevel here, so, you know, I think it's gonna look pretty decent. There we go, let's see this. That's kind of interesting, I like that. Let's run a bevel on top of this, so bevel, there we go. Cool, cool, cool. And I think, I kind of like this. I think this should be a little bit shorter, you know, this. So, ever scroll and GZ, and let's just play with this. Now I'm thinking maybe this would be cool. Something like this. But I want to show these springs, you know, a bit. The issue is if I don't move it upwards, the springs will not show, you know. I kind of want to show these springs. And this could be a little bit deeper. Okay, so GX and move it in here. And it's a little bit too deep, but, you know, we're going to fix it later. Something like this maybe, you know, kind of like a sleeve for this, you know, for the wheels. And this one could be a little bit closer here like this, right? So kind of like a, you know, double sleeve there. It's gonna look a little bit better. So then what I would do is I would slice this here on the line. So like this, right? With a knife. So K, slice it. And when we apply this, okay? When we apply, let's go to local. When we apply this, so operations multiply, you're gonna get this lip. And we could grab this lip, right? And Alt and macro it. So, you know, outside, right? So Q and Alt and macro and kind of move it outside like this, right? I think it's gonna look pretty cool. And then shift click on sharpen to recalculate sharpen. And let's see that. See, that's pretty freaking cool. And we could run some bolts here or something to make it really stoutish. Do you know what I mean? So I like this. I like this. And obviously we need to mirror this, right? To the other side. Did it work? Yes, it did. And then we need to array this, right? So go to the bottom and, you know, array this, right? On X, okay? Let's just make sure it's, you know, fits properly here, okay? Also, wait a minute. Is this hole larger or something? Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. So array and, you know, just align it properly here, right? So it fits. And then we can just duplicate it. So, you know, Shift D, Y, and boom, right? So now when you're going to look from the back, it's going to look a little bit better, you see what I mean? So this looks a little bit better here, right? Looks a little bit better. And we can play with it later, you know, do some fun stuff here. But, you know, that looks cool to me. It looks much better than this naked stuff, do you know what I mean? So let's save this because reasons. So, you know, power save. Now let's going back to the top here. We cut this stuff here, right? And you know, we could just start building something inside, like some kind of an engine. So I mean, some bits and pieces or whatever. And obviously, you know, these springs are a little bit too tall, but we could actually squash them down a bit, you know, like this. It's fine. So then they're gonna be protruding. Also, you're gonna be seeing a little bit more of the springs here on the bottom. They're gonna get flattened, you know. We could apply scale and it's gonna get fixed. No, it would not. Oh, you bastard. So if you do this, it's gonna get flattened. We can always, you know, redo them later on. I wouldn't worry too much about this, you know. I wouldn't worry too much about this. Or we could just play with these, you know. I'm always curious, like how these modify, because these modifiers are so bloody confusing that I never know which one is which. Do you know what I mean? This is width. Okay, that's not that. That's hard up screw. It could be this. Let's just hold Shift and see what this does. This makes it thicker. What I want shorter, right? It's really probably easier to make a new one. That's 6. No. That's a profile or something, or iterations, right? Of the screw, I see. And this one? I don't even know what it is. And then we got decimate, that's not that. And then we have another screw. Oh, this is it. Perfect. Okay, we found it. Hang on. We found it. So now it's working. Perfect. Okay, good. So that's what I wanted. Peachy. So now let's grab this and maybe, you know, make this a little bit... I don't even know if I need this now, to be completely honest. All we could do is something interesting here, you know. We could run something like this and make it taller and make it run all the way to the back from the front like this. Let me just apply scale and you know, bevel this and run some cuts here for fun. Let me see this. VX. Let's go with bevel and then boom, right? We could even taper this, Shift T, you know, just create this, right? And then we're going to have some bits and pieces over there. We're gonna think about it later. Maybe some cables, pipes, whatnot, you know. We could even have these going inside over there from here, you know, using cablerator, going somewhere down there. So watch, Shift Alt C, and I'll show you in a minute how to do it without cablerator, right? Do something like this and, you know, scale it obviously, right? And have, you know, this kind of a stuff going on here on the front. I think it looks pretty cool, like a nitro system or some stuff, you know. And move it in here a little deeper. Something like that, right? And have this one, you know, kind of being inserted. You can do much more with this. I'm just saying, you can add caps and stuff and whatnot. It's, you know, the possibilities with cabelators are infinite. But if you're running this manually, you're gonna be in a bit of a tizbas. I really recommend you grab the add-on because it's cheap, okay? But watch, you know, usually start with a plane or a curve. I mean, it's up to you. And go to vert mode, Shift 1 to collapse it with machine tools, and then, you know, create your cable, whatever, and, you know, create your shape, whatever you want to do, right? So let's say you want to go with something like this, right? and you're gonna get these two curves here like that, and then you simply go to Mesh Tools and Curve Extract, and you're done, and you can smooth it, right? So adjust curve and then press S, right? And you're done. And if you could do this also with curves like Bezier curves, you know. So with these, where is it? This one, yeah, Bezier circle, whatever. So you know this is how you do it, right? But honestly, it's so fiddly and it just takes so much time. I really recommend you get Cablerator because it's faster, okay? So I'm just saying. Let's clean these edges. So Control Shift click on Sharpen, and here too to clean this, and we good to go. This bevel isn't too big. I think it's overshooting. There we go, it's overshooting. You can also run a Control 1 here if you want to run the sub D on it. We're gonna be running probably trim sheets on this, so I wouldn't worry really too much about that. Here we can, you know, insert this like this, right? And we can run Shift as cursor to face, and we can go with Alt click on the asset loader, and we could just go with something here, you know, I don't know, this, whatever. Add insert, right? And then click, you see this name here. All you need to do is go here to names and just nuke it. Obviously nuke all the mats because we don't need them, right? So go here and where is it? Here, remove all the mats, okay? And we want to move it to the cursor. So Shift S to cursor. Did it work? Yes, it did. Scale it, and you're good to go. Okay, there you go. See what I mean? And put a tiny bevel over. Also, go to edit mode, because for some reason, don't ask me why, in edit mode the mesh is missing. So select everything, Alt H, and then bevel it. Okay, just a little bit. Don't overdo it because, you know, they're not really that detailed. Okay, so I'm just saying. And mirror to the other side, right? But that's, you know, I don't want to add these small details right now, but you know, they're gonna complete the vessel, I mean the truck, really quickly. Okay, cool. Now here in the bottom, I want to add some kind of like hooks or whatnot. So I mean, they're kind of sticking out. Let's just cut this. And by the way, remember Shift V and enable this view all aligning auto, otherwise it will not work. B, and we're going to, well, one more time. It's like this, B, right? Then click, then move away from this because you're going to be adjusting bevel. And then we're going to draw it in like this and shift click. Okay, let me see this. That's good. That's good. And let's actually run, you see these connections here are going to be really nasty. We need more segments on the bevel. So bevel and 1, 2, 3, that should do. And these connections are caused by connections to this boolean. We can negate this by running a knife manually here like this, okay? So just run a knife from here to here and Bob's your uncle. And then we're going to run some hooks here. So we could actually borrow this mesh, you know, this one, which we can't really see yet. So what we could do is ever scroll this and grab this face, Q and Control click on Curve Extract to extract this. Now we need to move this to where is it? Truck main, okay, and then Shift 2, perfect. So now let's grab this one and Shift S origin to geo. Let's make it smaller. Let's flatten it. Also, it's unparented because it's parented to the mesh. Remember, it's a piece ripped off of a cutter. So Control P and Alt P and clear parenting. Boom. And now we're going to solidify it. So solidify this the other way and Bob's uncle. Let's just sharpen it and move it in here. Okay. We're going to bevel this, and in order to bevel this, we need to apply this. Well, we don't need to apply the solidification, but we will smart apply and select these two edges here and bevel them. And if you clipping, press C, create something like this. Then press 3 to clean this edge in the middle. We're gonna have this sharp edge bullshit again. So Shift Control click on sharpen. Then we can actually chamfer this. Or we need to apply scale. Control A, apply scale, then chamfer this, right? And then we're gonna have some fun. So here we could run a circle cut with dots. Enable dots, hold Control. And the dot is not in the place you want it. We want it here. You wanna run a line. So J and Control, boom, and Bob's your uncle, right? There we go. This, let's make it a bit larger. There we go. And apply this, Control click, run the chamfer here. So Alt click and Shift Alt click and, well, deselect this rubbish and chamfer. And then we're gonna bevel it, right? Because obviously we will. And move it in, and we're going to, you know, mirror this, and also we're gonna make this bigger. Let's just let me see this. Why is it scale? There we go. And taller, like this, right? You see that? Cool. So we got that. Actually, maybe it's a bit too big. I think this is better. Awesome, 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 awesome. And then, you know, I was thinking that we could actually have a bevel here. I think it's gonna be better. I'm just saying, you know. It's gonna be plain with this narrative of this front here, kind of beveled. We could even bevel this deeper, you know, all the way up here, you know, like this. Boom, see what I mean? That actually looks pretty cool. I think I like this. Or maybe a little bit smaller. Let me see this. Another thing we could do, we could cut this in half, you know, here, like this. I think this could be interesting too. And we could have some kind of a connection between them, you know. I'm gonna have to think about this. I'm gonna have to think about this. Another option would be to do this. This is also cool. I think it might be even better. You know, kind of like barrels. Let me just mirror this. Did it work? No, it didn't. In this case, we're going to create a different thing on the back. So smart apply, and you know, just chamfer this, and I think we're gonna be good to go. We could do something like this, you know, nuke this. Whoa, let me just mirror this. Mirror this, there we go. And I think this is gonna be better. This is kind of cool. Yeah, it looks like a containers, you know, containing, I don't know, some whatever, you know, fluids or whatnot. And you know, I think it's pretty cool. Okay, and these could be, you know, these could be, there could be some kind of a terminal here. So go to top view, D and cut, and let's just slice it from here. X and slash it. Yeah, we're gonna move it, right? So after scroll, I'm gonna move it to one side, right? And we can think what to do with this. We could technically sharpen this and run a cut here. I don't know why this line turns itself off every time, man. Just don't cut through the bevel, yeah? Be very careful here. You don't want to, you're not be in a world of pain. You don't want to do that, right? And we could think of something in here, you know, some sort of a hatch or whatnot. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do in here, but you know, something here, right? I'm not sure I like this cut on the top though. Maybe without it. Go back and one more time, apply this and run chamfers here like this. This kind of might be interesting, right? This kind of might be interesting. We could even sort of fatten it outside. I don't know if it's not too tall because it's kind of encroaching on this barrel here, whatever it is. But we could move them a little bit up, like this here, and grab these rings and, you know, make them smaller. So go to edit view, right? If we can we? Yes, we can, and scale them, you know, like this a little bit in, right? So they're not so protruding. So we got more space here, and this could be interesting, right? This could be interesting. Cool. Let's just plant it, and you know, we're good to go, right? For now. These, on the other hand, let's apply scale and apply the smart apply. Let's select this and bevel this, and also the same here is multiply and bevel this one. So we're gonna get two kind of containers, and this one, you know, could be kind of hanging here like this on the same height more or less, right? See what I mean? So there's a clearance here, and could be a little bit shallower, not so deep. I like that. I like that. This one could be standing on something, so we could move them higher. And then let's use this Ngon drawing without cyclic. So let's just draw it in here like this. And then press T, solidify it, and click, rotate, and approve. And boom, right? Practice it a little bit, you're gonna get better with it. So it's a bit fiddly at the beginning, and we're gonna put it somewhere here, and obviously we're gonna make it smaller, but you know, we can cut it or whatnot. So put it somewhere here, and I'm going to run bevel here, not too crazy though. Ah, these are two of them. Let me just go to local view and select both. And then let's try this again. Control B, there you go. And Shift Control sharpen to fix this problem. And then we can run a bevel on it, right? So there you go. There's some kind of a stand for it. Looks interesting. It could be, you know, could be a little bit narrower, right? Kind of like this here. So there you go. Not sure if this fits though. How about we're gonna make this smaller? You know, or maybe two of them. Like this. 1 and 2. Array this so we can actually scale it on x-axis here. Right, so we can then go to edit mode, or even like this, just scale it on y and adjust the array. Maybe that's the play here. Maybe that's the play here. Let's make it a bit smaller still. And adjust the array. Put it here and drop it down. There we go. Interesting. Cool. And then let's, you know, bevel this. And we're going to slice it from the top, right? So create kind of like a, you know, lid or whatnot. So, you know, just slash it here. So D and cut, and then cut it here, and then X and slash it. And we're gonna move it a bit forward, so it's not so deep, yeah. So GX and move it here. Just don't, again, don't encroach on bevels, because, you know, you're gonna have a bad day, yeah. I just run some cut here with a taper, and there you go. We can even mirror this to the other side. Let me just move the origin to geometry and mirror this. There we go. That's fine. And here in the bottom we can have some stuff later on. I wouldn't worry about it too. Here too, Shift Control, click on Sharpen to recalculate them, and we're good to go. Now this one could be a little bit different. I mean, we could have some kind of a storage, like or something, you know, something here. I don't know yet what, but maybe some sort of, you know, some sort of terminal here. Press X and slash this, right? And maybe some kind of a vent on the bottom, whatnot, you know. And then we could have pipes coming up here. Now pipes could be created easily with a regular, I mean, pipes, cables, yeah. Just with, you know, grab a plane, like I showed you, right? Create a curve like this and just curve extract it. So we can actually do it with a regular, you know, I mean, without cable operators. So Shift 1, and what we're gonna do is extrude it to the top, extrude it to the side, you know, curve this, right, like that, and Bob's your uncle, and then simply mesh tools and curve extract and run S and, you know, smooth it. But with Cablerator, it's going to be much easier, you know, just click, and then press S, you know, to scale it, and Bobjangle. Now, obviously, we need to make this more angular, so let's just grab these two and, you know, Shift-Alt-C and create a cable between this one and this one. Boom, right? And then S and scale it. And then what you can do is array this, you know. So boom, right? And we would need to convert it to mesh. So Control A and Visual to Mesh, and then we can array this, right? X, and, you know, create, I don't know, maybe that many, and misalign this here somewhere. Boom, right? So there you go, right? That looks pretty cool. Now the other side, I don't know if I'm gonna have the same thing or not, because we need to have, we need to have some space for people to get in. We could keep this one, but we could nuke this one, so we could just simply go here and nuke the mirror, you know. So which mirror would, it's gonna be the first mirror, right? Oh, the mirror was applied. Yeah, so we just nuke this L and, you know, delete it. Okay, this one could be the same. That's okay. We could just mirror to the other side, you know. So just select this, right, and then nuke it, and we could simply, you know, grab all these, right, and mirror to the other side. Boom. Or do something else. We will think about it. Maybe you could put some maybe we're gonna do something else, you know. Maybe we're gonna do something else. And this one, you know, I was thinking to create some kind of like a terminal. So chamfer this one, and let's actually shift curve extract this, shift S to geo, scale it, and obviously we need to make this narrower like this, right? And bevel, yeah, apply scale, because we're gonna have problems. And let's just save it, because we may have more problems. This is still too thick, and then let's actually apply this, sharpen, and then grab this one and bevel it and chamfer it, and then, you know, create some sort of a monitor situation here. Cool. You could put it in here and tilt it, and grab one of these, right? So Shift D and nuke the array, and rotate it, so R Y90, and scale this, and just create, you know, hinges or whatnot right here. Boom, run, and move it here, and just a mirror across this, you know, boom, right. And there you go. And you know, just bring it deeper, so bring it deeper here, and there you go. And that's that. It's a place, again, it's a placeholder for now, right? I don't know if I want this to be rounded, or actually that looks pretty cool. We could use some handles though, you know, just, you know, because when someone is driving and this guy is standing over there, you probably need some handles. So let's where is it? Let's duplicate these, right, and shift S to geometry. Move them here, rotate them. You can hold control, scale them down, and put them here, right? And then bring them together if you can. If you can't, just GX, there we go, GX, and we're gonna mirror them across here, so boom, right? And then we need some keyboard, but we can do it later, okay? We can do it later. And here we could have some opening. We could actually use this face. So Q and Control click on curve extract. Let's solidify this. Here, scale this, so Shift S to geo, scale it, bring it down somewhere here, right? And, you know, drop it, right? and then put it in here and difference, right? And we can think about this later on, but this is pretty cool. All right, cool. This cabin or whatever this is should be planted, and this should be moved closer. Okay, so G, and so it's actually, you know, on the ground, you know what I mean? Not floating somewhere in space. And this one we're gonna have to think, but you know, we could run a quad cut here. So dots D and square, hold control, hold alt and shift. We could cut a quad in here like this, right? So tab, move it in, press K and slice, right? And then we have a quad. Now we'll control click, yeah, and then we can do something like this, right? How about we scroll this and do something like this? We're gonna have problems with bevel. Let me just nuke this bevel for a second here. Okay. Now let's try it again. So, macro, control click this, scroll up, and then go in. It's F. Or actually, maybe just like that. And click and see how it's looking. I mean, it's not terrible. It's a little bit large, you know. It's a little bit large. Let me just fix this bevel here. Press 1 to fix the profile. How are we looking? You know what we could do is select them like this, right? Whoops, hang on one more time, like this. And then Alt A and right. Devious, isn't it? That's pretty cool. And then let's select these ones, right? And bring them lower. So here. I think it's gonna be better. In fact, you know what we could do? So remove one of them, Alt A, and then dissolve edges, and then what we're gonna do is remove these dissolve edges. We're going to merge them together like this with a knife, and then we're going to dissolve all these because they're gonna conflict with our movement. Dissolve, perfect, and then we can move them. So see this. GY. No, it's a devious way of doing it, but there you go. And then we just, you know, fix this here. J, nuke this rubbish, and how we're looking. I think this is pretty cool. So now let's clean the mesh here. So operations clean mesh, and with this mesh, it's really easy to fix. So just simply run an edge here, and this should sort out this connection. And then run an edge. In fact, what we could do is project a knife here like this, right? So, well, let's just run it here, 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 and here. And then we can remove all this rubbish, right? That's cleaner, okay. I think this looks pretty cool. We could have some, you know, handles here on top of it. I can always borrow this, you know, and rotate it with control. Then move it out here. Let's nuke the mirror because we don't need it. And rotate it on Y, and then, you know, scale it in. We could make this a bit fatter because it's still a curve, remember this, yeah? And put one here, and it needs to be longer, so select these two and GX and move them in. The only problem is kind of clamping, so let's just unclamp it. There we go. And then bring them in, one here and, you know, one on the other side. So, you know, here, and you're good to go, right? And that's that. You know, keep the human size back on the back of your mind, yeah? It's important. The other thing we could do, we could slash this cabin here, so we could run an endgun cut here on the bottom underneath there's a bevel. Remember this, so let's just turn it on, yeah, so we can see it. Sheet wire, not sheet wire. I meant wireframe. here, this one, so we can see it, you see. So we got this wireframe going on in here, right? So we don't want to cut it through the wireframe, you want to cut it underneath the wireframe here. So let's go to Ngon, select this one, go to cut, and let's just run a cut, turn on cyclic, and let's run a cut like this here, and go down, and maybe do something like this. Let me see this, X and slice it. Let's go back. Yeah, see, he's gonna add some kind of a dynamic feel to it. Let's just turn off wireframe. That is actually, we need to smooth this, so just run a, whoa, let's just shade it smooth, and this one too. We're looking pretty good. It's gonna add a bit of a dynamic feel to it, also kind of, you know, sort of create like a congestion here. These could be a little bit higher now, some are here I think, so the line clearly shows. I like that. Another thing we could do is we could, you know, we could bevel these two, right, to create a bit of a, you know, sort of like a, let's bevel this separately. So bevel this, and then select this one, and, you know, and run another bevel here like this. It doesn't have to be super exact. It's, you know, it's not exact science. I think it looks better, sort of, you know, corresponds with the curves. And move these here so I can clearly see the design language here, see on the side. I like that. Now this one is parented. We need to unparent this, so Alt P and clear transformation. There we go. We don't need this to be parented, okay? The top here could have some kind of like, you know, another hatch, one or maybe two, like this, okay? Some sort of, you know, you could just cut in and solidify this, so T for solidification, and do something like this. And we can't mirror it. Remember, we can't mirror this, right? So what we need to do is mirror the cutter, okay? So shift click and mirror the cutter. Do not mirror the shape, mirror the cutter, okay? And there you go. We can leave them for now like this. We could have some kind of like a vent in here, whatnot, and we could do this decals, so just, you know, cuts, whatever, it doesn't matter. Here in the back, probably last thing we're gonna be doing, let's do the same thing. So let's slash this like this, right? So D, cut and slash it, X, and boom. And then we could create some kind of clips in here, whatnot. So let's just sharpen this, and let's run actually a step here, and we're gonna create, you know, kind of like tiny cuts in here like this. Press B for bevel, and we're going to solidify them like that, and array them to the bottom. So VX, scroll down, and boom, right? And shift, click, and then shift 2. And you're gonna get this smaller. Now remember that if you apply this, this bevel is gonna get applied, okay? So I'm just, you know, just a word of warning. Now here we could run another cut, like a handle. So let's go to Shift V and nearest edge, and then you can run a cut here like this, okay? And then, you know, go in, and we could actually solidify this like this. Right? For now, this will do, okay? These could be done a bit differently, so we could select this bit here and kind of scale it like this. I think it's gonna be cooler. There we go. But we're gonna have to fix the front, yeah? So, you know, let's apply the solidification. So Operation Smart Apply, right? And we're gonna select this face and Alt A and boom, right? And you're done. Do you know what I mean? And the same with the back, yeah? Select this one, Alt A, you're done. And Bob's your uncle. And then, well, they kind of protruding, so let's bring them closer here. There we go. And we're going to mirror them, right? One more time. So let's nuke this mirror, and let's nuke this mirror. It's not a mirror? Oh. L, X, delete. Select both. I think they're too big. Let's just make them smaller. Like this, right? And mirror, boom, right? Peachy. We could also have either bevel or a chamfer here. Maybe a bevel would look good. I think bevel's gonna look cool here. You know, and shift click, shift control click on sharpen to recalculate this. We're starting to look really interesting. We start looking, you know, we start to look really interesting. I like that. Now, another thing, I would like some sort of, you know, exhaust here. Kind of maybe on this side, protruding through. Well, these handles needs to be demirrored. So mirror, mirror, ghost handles, right? And where's this cube? I just edit. There it is. Alt H, G, Z. Whoa, okay, then hang on a second. G, Z, and then Alt H and Shift 2. There we go. So somewhere here, you know, or on this side actually, you know, maybe here, we could have this kind of like a exhaust thing. So, you know, boom, go down, and obviously apply scale, and we're going to, you know, chamfer this. I mean, bevel this, sorry. And sharpen, and then let's actually inset this and extrude it. No one's gonna be looking inside of it, but you know. And we could kind of slice this like this. I think it might be cool, and run bevels here. Let me see this. Yeah, I like that. And with this done, we can grab some pipes there or whatnot. So, you know, cylinder and move it in here. In fact, let's just make this cylinder less crazy, 16, and we're gonna do something fun. Okay, so watch. Let's go to, in fact, wait a minute, what's this? What in the actual fuck is this? Hang on. Where is this coming from? Cutters. What the fuck? Let's just nuke this. I don't need it. I don't know what it is. What is this? Okay, that was weird. Everything is fine, right? Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, doesn't matter. You know, you could grab this one, control, rotate it. Drop a loop here, drop a loop here, and drop a loop here, okay? Go to Alt Z and go to B and select the ones in the middle. Then go to select and checker deselect. Then go to Q and circle and scroll down. Now we're going to inset this, so I for inset, and then we're going to delete this, okay? So delete faces. Then we're going to press B and nuke this in face mode, okay? Moment time. And this. Faces, right? Now we need to connect these. So we could use the tool here, this multi-mesh tool, edit multi-tool J, and just drag the click, drag, click, click, drag, click. Just don't do anything else because you'll have to start over, okay? So once you finish, press space. And here, and here. My voice is going. I think we're good. That's space and you're good, right? Perfect. So now, we're not done yet, yeah? Now what we're going to do is we're going to Shift S to selected. We're going to grab another cylinder, so Shift A and cylinder. This one, this time we're going to make it thick, so 40. Rotate it and, you know, make it longer. And then let's just grab these two faces, okay? Control B them with a bevel and Control 3 to subdivide it and sheet smooth. And now grab this one and let me just find it. Period numpad. There we go. This one is what you're gonna call it base. And we're gonna call it holes. Well, that didn't go well. Okay, so select this one and go to, why are we in Eevee? What the fuck? Select the form and go to shrink wrap and select this one as base. Okay, it's gonna flex it, you see? So now let's hide the base, which is here. Just press period and numpad and hide it in the render as well. And now we can actually shade it smooth. Boom. So now we could array this X, right? And then press 1 and then however many you want. And let's actually apply this right now. Okay, so let's go here and operations multiply. Now let's grab our base again here. All right, we need it, and let's make it longer. Okay, so you know, boom, right? So select this one now, and what you want to do now is you want to run. Actually, let's cut this first. Let's go to local view and let's cut it here. So let's cut this, right? And let's cut this, okay? All right, and let's apply it. So let's multiply, right? Now let's go back. Now let's go to edit mode and press 3 to clean it just in case. Let's go back and shrink wrap it again, okay? So go to the form and shrink wrap it again, right? And once you do shrink wrap it, you want to subdivide it, Control 1, right? And you're gonna get these, you know, these on the side, but you can just remove them, right? So just, you know, nuke faces, you're good to go. And then you want to solidify it. So go to modify solidify, right? And then press R to remove the back faces. So you're gonna remove the inner faces. And then if you really want to, you can still bevel it. So you can just run a bevel on top of it, right? Like this, tight one, okay? And because we have these securing loops, it's gonna be really clean. And if you want to, now you can apply this or just, you know, whatever, keep it. And these are gonna be our pipes. So let's go back, right? Now you can grab this and hide it, right? But if you move this, right, if you move this, it's gonna getting it nasty. So what you wanna do is you wanna apply the shrink wrap. So now you can actually move it, okay? And then just Shift S into Geo and move it in here, scale it, and we're gonna, you know, create some cool pipes here, right? Like this, right? So GX and move it in here, and Shift D X and, you know, and move it in here. Maybe you can make 3 of them. You know, we could actually array this. So Q and array it, right? Boom, right? And just, you know, do this, right? And there you go. And you can obviously make them longer, whatever. You can just put some stuff inside of them, you know, whatever you want to do, okay? It doesn't matter. You could even put some kind of pipes inside of them, right? So grab this and Shift S to geometry, to select it. Then grab another pipe, right? The cylinder, sorry. And we don't need it to be so dense, you know, like, I don't know, 24, whatever. And scale it down, right? And then just, you know, extrude it. That is it. And do something like this, right? And, you know, where is it? Bevel it or something, right? And then array this, obviously. Array it here. And make this longer and drop it down. Okay, there you go. There's your pipes, right? So that's sorted. I think for this part is enough because we've done a lot, and you know, it's gonna be a very, very, very long video otherwise, yeah. But you know, I could keep going. Just saying, I could keep going. You know, this could be chamfered as well here. I'm just saying. I just want to mention this. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, but this could look probably cool. And we should fix this, so Shift Control click on sharpen to remove this nasty edge here. All right, I think we're looking good. And you know, then we can just play with the rest. So we could have some fun here with the lights and all that, because they need still work here, right? There we go. Probably will need some kind of you know, shift curve extract here. Whoa, that didn't work. Hang on, why didn't it work? Shift curve extract, there we go. And then Control click on bevel, boom, right? So you're gonna get this. You could actually have 2 of them here, you know, not 1 but 2. So watch this. Operations multiply. Alt Z, B, off click this off, and GX and do this, and then array this. What in the hell? Let's remove this. Hang on. Oh, this is one mesh, right? Wait. Let me just go to local view. What the hell is going on here? L and nuke it. There we go. Shift S to geometry and lower this bevel because it's insane. There we go. Let's go back. Now Q array. Now we're talking. You know, we could do something like this. So I think it's kind of cool. And then, you know, mirror this across, right? There you go, right? There you go. They could be even smaller, you know, so like that, right? And maybe a little bit deeper like that. Okay, there. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And here on top, instead, we could have different solutions. So we could have, you know, this, right? And we could have, let me see this. If you deselect everything, D, well, Alt V and D, and then go to circle, we could draw a shape like this, and then shift click, right? And then we could array this. So, you know, just let's make it smaller, even smaller, and then bevel, and then array, and, you know, do this, right? And then we could simply shift D this and reduce the number of arrays, and then, you know, shift D. I can't be bothered playing with arrays. This will do shift D and Z, and boom, right? And you got these, and then you can move them to the other side. Boom, right? That looks pretty dope. And we need to fix the bevel, so select all of them and bevel in 1, and there you go. And peachy. All right. Let's save this, and let's continue the next video, okay?